I just want to make a couple announcements. First thing I want to do is I want to shout out a couple of our juniors that's getting ready to make some big moves. We've got Awesome Burnett, of course, that's getting ready to go to the Rolex in a couple of weeks down in Florida. So we wish Awesome the best. And we also have Ahmad Raul, who just committed to Winston-Salem State University. So we're excited about that and all the commitments that were made. And we also have, Darren, what's your daughter's name?
Morgan Horrell.
Morgan Horrell. Morgan, you all just committed to Howard University. So we're really excited about that. They're slowly but surely building a super powerhouse over there in DC, Maryland area. So we're excited about that. On another note, Pfeiffer University is looking for 8 men and 6 women golfers to join their golf team this upcoming season. So if any of you are interested in finding out more about that, reach out to Pfeiffer University and they can get your kids over to the school and play. Also, Bethune-Cookman is looking for 3 girls to join their team immediately. Okay, so for those of you who are interested in the HBCU school, reach out to Bethune-Cookman. They're looking for 3 girls at this time. We also want to send out our condolences to the Elder family. Of course, y'all know he just passed away about a week ago. So we want to send our condolences to the Elder family. A true legend in the game of golf, pioneer, one of the first African Americans to play in the Masters. So we're excited about that. He paved the way for Tiger and Calvin Peete and a lot of other greats to play in that particular tournament. So again, those are just a couple announcements. At this time, we're going to bring on our special guest, and we want to bring in Darren Horrell, guys. Hey, Darren, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ro. Thanks for having me. Good,
man. Good. Well, listen, we're excited about the podcast tonight. I know you're going to give a lot of valuable information about playcollegegolf.net. And so, man, before we get into the specifics of Play College Golf, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from Columbia, Missouri. Not a great golf hotbed because of being in the Midwest and cold weather, right. But I grew up around golf. All my dad played, all my uncles played, and actually played every sport. Basically, basketball was my initial love. Golf being a sport that I played really well, even though I didn't play in high school or anything like that. I always played in the summers with my family. Went away to play basketball in college, but as soon as the last buzzer went off in basketball, when my college career was over, I started playing golf full time. And from that, I picked up everything from Missouri and moved to Texas, where I could play 100%, 300 days out of the year. So I've been, that's where 25 years of just being in the golf business, from everything from being on the PGA Tour, working at tournaments from there. Wow. Worked for Hank Haney and the IJGA out there in Hilton Head.
Nice.
Their academy. So I've been in golf or around golf or through golf, and course design, you name it, I've been a part of it. And so now junior golf is my love and my passion. Yeah. And I've been in this for about 10 years, just working directly junior golf. I've got a daughter who's been through this process, so that even kept me even closer to it.
Well, man, you came to the right place talking about passion for junior golf, man. I think, me and you have that same passion and that drive. And so, man, you just mentioned your daughter. Talk to us a little bit about how you got her started in the game of golf.
Well, it was one of those interesting things. I played golf 5 days a week. And as my daughter came in, there was a putting green in the backyard. The whole backyard was taken out there. Wow. It was synthetic grass and hitting areas and everything. She had nothing to do with it until she was probably 10 years old, 9, 10 years old. She was a dancer. She was doing dance classes. You know, I'm sure plenty of parents can come through that, and hip hop classes and everything like that. And then one day I saw her in the backyard starting to putt around and start hitting balls. She always went to the range and hit balls, but never said, I want to start playing this game. And I wasn't going to take her until she decided that, you know, you want to play, because it's not a game you can push on a kid. They got to want it. And so her fire grew from from being 9, 10, 11. I could see it exponentially growing, that she really, really liked the game and now was trying to become a student of the game. So
Beautiful.
It started there, and we kept going, and the journey is the journey. And it ended in the right place with her, you know, signing her national letter of intent a couple of weeks ago to go to Howard. It was a great time.
Good. And what was that experience like as a parent, you know, following your baby girl around, watching her play golf, watching her practice? What was that experience like?
Kind of surreal. I mean, especially if you play the game and, you know, you have your own things that you do. And I played a lot of tournament golf, and all my friends are in golf, and all of them are coaches. Everybody's in there. And so they all kind of adopted her in that thing. But as personally, it was you know, it's one of those things that could make you cry at times, because you want her to play so good sometimes.
Right.
And then the other side, it makes you really mad, because you know that it's just part of the maturation process, that there's going to be mistakes. And, you know, there was plenty of days we rode home and didn't say anything to each other. And then it got to the point where it was like, I got to get out of this, and I've got to get somebody else that is the stop go between the two of us, because we can't keep going this way. And I'll talk about that later, as far as just parents, find yourself a good instructor. But it was an awesome experience. I mean, it's still going. She's a senior, and every time I go out and watch her play, I was with her this weekend at Texas A&M. It's always a good experience to watch it. And for a parent, once those kids start really getting it, it's great. When you see them thinking shots through and hitting good shots and making putts, and those, you know, that look on their face, it's nothing better. It's nothing better.
Yeah. I'm going through the movie that you went through 4 years ago. I'm at that point. So man, help the parents have a smoother journey. If you could do it all over again, what would you say to the parents to make the journey a lot smoother for us?
I think the first thing that I would say is that it's going to get better.
Okay.
I mean, golf is a hard game. I mean, I told my daughter that every day. Golf is hard.
Yeah.
Golf is hard. Golf is not like any other sport. It's not a natural, or anybody comes into the sport. Very few come in. There's 500,000 kids that play junior golf in this country. And when you look at recruiting and things like that, I bet you 1% get recruited by just ability.
Wow.
I mean, it's work. It's just a day-to-day grind. And parents need to understand that this is their child's journey. It's not your journey, it's their journey. And they're going to get to it in whatever way they can. Some get there, some don't. But the bottom line is, you can't force that journey. All you can do is support and try to get them as much help in the realm of the game, instruction, learning, being a student of the game. The key thing that I always beat up on my kid was, don't just be a golfer. Learn more about the game. Watch all the things that you have that we didn't have. You got the golf channel. You got all these things that will help you get your golf IQ up.
Right.
To be where you're a smart golfer. You'll learn more shots. You'll learn more situations that you can see on TV that we never could be able to see on that. I mean, golf back in the 80s was just on Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
That was it. For 2 hours.
Hey, Darren, you bring up a good point, because I try not to force watching golf on my son, but I know if he does watch it, he's going to learn and get better, because a lot of the commentators tell you that, hey, he shouldn't try this because that's going to put him in a lot of trouble. And you know, just by watching a lot of the golf, like you just said, you could learn the do's and the don'ts and the mistakes. And when you get out on the course, you can reflect back on what you just watched, and that'll help you make a better decision while you're on the course.
For sure. And I also think that as I said before, getting them the right instructor to work with them directly. I know a lot of parents like to work with their kids. On a younger level, I think it's okay because, you get to caddy for them, you get to do all these types of things when they're younger. But once they get to a certain point where their game is starting to grow and needing that little extra push, unless you're an instructor, you need to find somebody. For me, it was just better to have a buffer in between me and my daughter. I could see the golf swing. I know the golf swing, but I wasn't about to be able to be in the middle of that, going back and forth, trying to be an instructor and then trying to be dad. It's too hard to try to be both. I mean, it's almost impossible.
Hey,
but
Darren, they're not going to listen to you.
Those earplugs go in very quickly, especially you hit a bad shot and you ask why, you might get anything.
Right. I don't know.
Yeah. And that's what you don't want to hear. And that's what an instructor will bring back to them as far as trying to help them understand, why the shot was the miss or whatever you had was that way. And I got our instructor that was going to be upfront and forthright with her. I didn't want a cupcake. I didn't want somebody to say every shot, you'll get him next time. I needed one that's going to say, here's why this was a mistake, and you shouldn't make this mistake as a better player. And as you get better, you won't make those mistakes. But it's patience that is the biggest thing that I see all parents need to have on this thing.
Yeah, that's good, because John's coach right now. We went to see him a couple of weeks ago, and he just point blank period told John. He said, "You're lazy. I know you're lazy." And John couldn't say anything, but now he just got to pick up that work ethic. So, man, we're excited to hear about Play College Golf. Before we get into the specifics of what it is and what it can do for a lot of parents, talk to us about the program and a couple of the ins and outs. I know we're going to talk about resumes in a few minutes and why that's important, but what made you want to do this?
Okay. Well, I mean, the brainchild of this came from myself and 3 or 4 of my close friends that are college coaches.
Okay.
And we were having a long conversation about recruiting at one point in time, and that they couldn't find the kids that they wanted to.
Wow.
I mean, they weren't finding them nationally, and then the kids that they had locally weren't getting them where they needed to be.
Right.
And asking the question, and my background was coming from a solutions background with, some of the companies I was with Cloud Nation on the tour, and we were the first with the coach-to-coach technology. And so it was always about information. And the biggest thing that everyone always said was, I wish I could get better paper to be able to understand who this kid is, because golf is a different animal than a measurable sport like basketball or football. In football, I can tell you this kid's 6'5" and 250 pounds. He's going to be a really good football player. Whether it's all about me teaching him, but if you put 10 kids in street clothes and lined them up and said, which one of these kids is a good golfer? You couldn't tell. Right. And it's the same thing with their resumes, is that you'd get resumes, and one of my friends, Andy, he always used to say, I get 40, 50 resumes a week, and I don't keep 2 of them. Right. Because I can't understand what they're trying to tell me, and they don't give me the information I need. So I went back to the drawing board and said, let's try to build something that if I build something that you tell me what the parameters are and we put it into a resume, that's going to help a lot of junior golfers and going to save a lot of time for everybody, parents, coaches, players, to get the right paperwork across the table first time, because you don't get a second chance in college recruiting when you're in high school. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that, but high school is really the only place that you only get one time to go through high school. Exactly. And once it's done, it's done. Okay. And so in recruiting, it's the same way. You got to get that paperwork right. You can't send 4 or 5 resumes to a golf coach in a college and say, oh, I didn't get you the right information. Let's do it right the first time. And that's what Play College Golf is all about.
All right. So Darren, talk to us about why the golf, what's a golf resume and why it's important to get it right.
Well, the resume is your calling card. It's the first thing. If you think at any point in time that college golf coaches are going out to every junior tournament and searching through and trying to find the best kids that are playing, right, That's not happening. You ask a high school coach, have they been contacted by college coaches to see who's the best player on their team? That's not happening. Golf is a self-promotion sport because there's so many tournaments and there's so many kids playing and there's so many different windows of who's playing well at what time.
Right.
So how else are you going to be able to communicate your skills and abilities to a college coach on a regular basis and show that consistency, which is what they're looking for, by not having a piece or a document that tells them these are the tournaments I played in, these are the scores that I shot, these are the things that I have. What are your academics? What does your golf swing look like? On playcollege.com, you have a swing video on there. We have a face on and a down the line on your resume that goes directly to a college coach that they can look at that thumbnail and at least get an idea of what your golf swing looks like. Yeah. Numbers are numbers. All college coaches are going to look at several different things, and there's really 5 things that they really look for. They really look for who this kid is. So we definitely have a picture of the kid, not a picture from far away with a golf hat. We have for lack of a better, a glamour shot picture of this is the face of the kid that whose resume this is. Right. A swing video, of course, that I mentioned down the line, face on. So now a coach can see, this is the golf swing that I'm going to be working with or this kid has. Scoring, having the scoring of the tournaments in the proper effect. The scores of the tournaments, of course, but what was the yardage you played? What place did you come in the tournament? And, when was the event? What junior tour were you playing on? Right. It also has a big piece on academics. What's your SAT, ACT scores? Because remember, golf is not like other sports. There's not 10 people on a golf team and all of them are getting scholarships. They're piecemealing these scholarships together. So the kids that have great academics, now they're going to get great money academic-wise that they can piece in with athletic money, and you can get 2-for-1s as far as that goes. And then, the personal statement that we have on there is really to kind of go through what is the motivation of this kid? Who is this kid? How do they speak to me as far as when they talk to me as a coach, as being at the last piece of that? But it gives them an opportunity to put that out there in the words for a golf coach to look at.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, Darren. And there, I'm getting a lot of stuff from high school about different organizations that can get you connected to different colleges and universities. How is your platform different from some of the other, recruiting, not necessarily recruiting, but services that are offered to high school students? What makes you so different?
Well, I think that the biggest piece on this is that we teach kids how to do it themselves.
Gotcha.
With golf being a self-promotion sport and college coaches wanting to hear from the kids, we're putting the platform together that we aren't going to be a third party. You're never going to see Play College Golf on any kid's resume. We're not going to reach out and try to contact coaches. We're not a recruiting service. We're a resume creation company. And the reason why I say resume creation, because that is the first step that every kid, 97% of the kids that play junior golf need some type of resume, whether you're using it as a junior, sophomore, junior, senior for colleges, or if you're using it as a younger kid to get into other tournaments. They're asking you for a resume as far as for the invitationals. And so this is the same piece of paper from a young kid starting a resume like in 8th grade. They're going to have a great story to tell on how they improve from 8th grade all the way to their junior, senior year in college that a coach can look at in a chronological order and showing all their variables. A kid that's 5'6" when they're in 7th grade and is 5'11", 6'2" by the time they're in a junior, senior, we show all that information on there because we give measurables on there of everything that an individual coach will look, because coaches fall in really 2 big categories that I've seen. And then that is the golf coach that wants the kid that can hit it really far. And they say, you know what, I can teach them how to score. As long as they can, because I can't teach speed. Right. Or the golf coach that says, I want a kid that's got a really great short game. And that kid is always going to be consistently, and I can trust that kid all the time because no matter how bad they hit it on either day, I know that short game and that putter is always going to work for them. And so we try to make sure that we get all that information in one document on one page that will go to a coach that they can look at it and trust the information they see on that page.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Darren, how does the golf resume work? How does the program work?
Okay.
Give
So
us a couple of details.
once you get on the site, it lets you build your resume. The resume is not having any really thought-provoking information on there. It's a template. And so the template is set up exactly so the kids can go in and put the information in as it is on the board. The board has been put together by college coaches, by industry professionals. So the information is exactly what they're looking for, from everything from your JGS ranking to your clearinghouse numbers. It explains all that different stuff, what those are if you don't have them. If you're younger and you don't have ACT scores, it allows you not to have to fill those in. It has grade point averages and all the different things in there. So you fill out the resume. Once the resume is complete, now you're inside the site. We also have, like most other companies that do similar things that we do, is that you have a list of all the colleges and universities from Division I schools all the way through JUCO. But the little different that we have is that we have team sizes in there. So if you clicked on University of Missouri, just because I'm here in Columbia,
right,
it will tell you how many freshmen, how many sophomores, how many juniors, how many seniors are on that team. So it'll give you an idea of what the team size is. And so like Missouri this year, they recruited 5 freshmen.
Gotcha.
There's not a lot of money left there. So if you're looking for scholarship money and be there, they don't have any money until 2023, 2024,
wow,
before they come in. But there's other schools, you look
money.
at their size and they're heavy, junior and senior, they're going to be wide open.
See, that's good to know.
One of the other things that we really have that I really like is we have a classified section. And that's something we came up with, where we go directly to the individual schools and we let the universities and the college coaches on for free. We don't charge them to get on the site. They have a search process that they can go through, and the information that's on the template, they can go in and search for different things off of that template. But we also let them tell me how many opportunities they have at their individual college right there. So today, I've got schools that come on and say, hey, I've got 2 scholarships available for 2022-23. They're looking for paper. They want good resumes.
Right.
And now they're trusting us to say, we like your template. We'll take resumes that come from your organization because we know they're going to get the information that we're looking for.
That's good. And why is this system better than per se paying somebody to promote you to certain different colleges?
Well, on the first part, and I'm not trying to downgrade any of those services because they do, what they do, but college coaches in general don't really like receiving paper from recruiters. They still want to hear from the individual kid. I mean, that's been across the board forever. My guys that I talk to, if they see recruiting paperwork come across their desk, they tend to not deal with it. Wow. And the cost. I mean, as I told you before, my love is junior golf. My love has always been junior golf. Not even my kid is going to be out of junior golf, but I still want to be in junior golf. So the pricing that we put together on this program is definitely at or lower than what you pay for a junior tournament. It's $299, and that is a one-time fee, and that gets the kids on there. And the only other charges that we have is just a renewal fee of $99, and that's just to keep the storage going as far as us keeping all your information, because some kids play 50 tournaments, and we're storing all that information onto the site, onto your resume, that when you send it, you can send all that. So we made it affordable, and we think that we've got kind of the secret sauce as far as going to the direct source, which is the coaches, and asking them, what do they want? I don't think these recruiting services are going to coaching and asking them, what do you want to see? I mean, they're a recruiter. They're trying to promote a kid, but they're going to promote you. I was looking at one today. They were wanting to charge kids $1,000.
Yeah, I've got somebody that I'm supposed to meet, and I'm a little afraid of what they might want to charge. So I may just keep the appointment just to see what it is they say, and just go from there. But
what are you getting for your money? What are you getting for your money that you can't do yourself? I mean, once you've got the resume, once you've got the research as far as the colleges and the emails of the coaches, because from ours, you hit the hyperlink on the coach's name and it pops up your email pieces. You input your resume. We give you cover letters that you can do that the kids can work cover letters off of it. They don't plagiarize them. It's just examples. Here's the letter you want to use. We have there's so much on the site. We have a blueprint from when you're a freshman, when you're a sophomore, when you're a junior, what you should be doing as far as in your recruiting, what you should be doing. Like every kid right now across the country is not playing golf as far as they're in school. Right. Me saying, and not just my service, but every kid should be promoting themselves and building a resume.
Gotcha. And so what are the 5 things that coaches actually look for, Darren?
Well, the biggest thing is, can your individual kid play? I mean, there's nothing that I can say that says can your kid play or not. But the one thing that I can say is that there is a place for everyone that wants to play college golf. I mean, there's enough schools out there from Division 1s, Division 2, Division 3, NAIA, JUCOs, all those things out there. But if I go to a kid like this weekend, I was listening to some kids talking about where they wanted to go to school. And every one of those kids said a top 5 D1 golf program in the country.
Right.
And my question to them is, do you know that there are Division 2 programs, there are NAIA programs that have tons of money, have great programs, have golf courses on campus, indoor facilities, and have a great golf experience that you just don't know anything about? You need to do your research and find out where they are. Golf Stat and those things show every tournament that goes on every week. And you look on Golf Stat and you see all the schools on there. All those schools have golf programs.
Hey, Darren, when I look at, I keep up with Golf Stat. I kind of look at it throughout the fall, and man, I see some names of schools that I had no idea that had great college programs. I mean, they shooting 15 under as a team, 25 under as a team. I'm like, man, I didn't know that all these schools had good golf programs like that. So it's interesting you said that. So Dan, let me ask you this: what are the things that coaches don't necessarily want to see on the resume? I mean, sometimes they'll get it, read it, toss it, what have you. What are some of the things that they kind of look for on the resume?
I think that the biggest thing is there needs to be some type of organization to the resume.
Gotcha.
As far as that, you can't have a resume that has just 1 or 2 scores on there. You've got a video on there that one of your friends took in the backyard with with you and and whatever. And you're a representation of a school. That's why we put the picture on there. That's why we put the swing video the way we do it with the thumbnail, the face on down the line, is that you're a representation of this coach to this university. Their job is on the line by them being able to recruit the right kids to play in their program. And so anything that looks off of the grid as far as where that goes, they're not going to keep that. They are going to push that into the no pile because they get so many.
Gotcha.
Be in the pile of the yeses is having the right information that they can see and say, I've got an interest in this individual kid for whatever reason it may be.
Right.
Whether it's a swing video, whether it's their academics, why, I need some kids that I can get academically in here because I don't have very much scholarship money. And this kid has a great golf swing and a great SAT, ACT score. This is a kid I want to look at and is playing a good schedule.
That's good. That's good.
I'm not here, and Play College Golf is not here for you to send your resume out one time and get a scholarship.
Right.
We are just opening the door for you to be able to continue the conversation and get that feedback, which is what every parent that stops me says, how do I get my kid looks from someone? That's all I'm looking for, is a look, like interest. Because I know in Texas, we have so many good players in Texas.
Right.
So many good players. And there's so many kids that aren't being seen. And why are they not being seen? It's not because they can't play. It's because the paperwork that they're reaching out to these coaches and sending is incorrect.
Resume. So Darren, what's and we're gonna open it up for Q&A. We're already getting some questions in right now, but we're gonna get to the questions in just a few minutes.
Sure.
But what are some of the things that parents don't necessarily know about recruiting? I mean,
Well, I think you don't know what you don't know. I mean,
right.
And if you've never played or been a part of college sport, and dealing with some of the simple things like the clearinghouse, and every kid has to go through the clearinghouse where you send your transcripts and everything in order to be eligible to be able to play a college sport.
Gotcha.
So that is some of the big things that are right there. It's just the one-to-one things. We have a parents 101 section in there that has a ton of FAQs in there, and it's everything you can imagine, from how to do this, how to do that, as far as in this college recruitment, because it's confusing as far as where to go. Right. And how this all dead dates. When can a coach talk to your kid? When, if you're not hearing from a coach, it may be in a dead zone period where they can't reach out to anybody. And it depends on the level of the school. If you're a Division I school, it's very definite when those dates are. An NCAA Division II or a JUCO or NAIA school, they can walk with your kid on a golf course, and there's no NCAA infractions as far as that goes. And so we try to give insight to all that. Plus we have the idea of, you can ask us a question anytime, specific questions, anything like that. We'll find the answer if we don't know it. Right. And we promise that we want to be a resource to not only the players, but to the parents. Because as coming through this, as far as being a parent, I mean, yes, I'm in the golf business, but the questions that I got from other parents that were on a team of girls who were getting ready to play in college, they had no clue.
They had a clue. Wow, that's something. So Darren, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
You can go to playcollegegolf.net. That's the website. Anyone that's listening to the podcast tonight. Yes. I mean, like I said, we are all about junior golf, and we really want not only to get this resume as the Bible as far as across the board, right? That every kid, even if you don't use us, right, that at least you get a resume, and what should be as a part of a resume. I mean, we're doing $100 off of our services for the next 36 hours until midnight on Friday for anyone that's listening here. So
wow, hold on. Say that again. You said
our normal price is $299 to get all our services. Right. And we're gonna do it for $199 until Friday at midnight Pacific time. Wow. And the code is going to be PCG, which is Play College Golf Save 100, and you can throw that out to folks as far as where that is. Once we get off here, and put that in when you're registering your kid in there, and it'll give you the discount, and you can get it for $199. Because I mean, at the end of the day, yes, sir. I mean, we want the resumes to be out there. We want to help kids. I mean, there's so many other things I can tell you, with the HBCUs and some of the things we're doing. We're trying with Craig Bowen and some of those guys that we're going to be directly working with them as far as helping them recruit kids and get paper to them on a regular basis by, giving them information and spotlighting the HBCUs and some of the programs that are big and upgoing. Of course, with my daughter going to Howard, right. And I know Maurice is on here, and Kendall's there already, and there's going to be a resurgence of HBCU golf, right. And we want to be in the front end of that, of helping those coaches find players, because that's always there. We can't find players. Well, I'm going to have a vehicle that's going to let you find players. You can go out and search them on our site, and we can find them.
That's good.
And we'll spotlight those schools to get it in there, but it's for everyone.
That's good. Darren, man, I tell you, I've learned so much in the last 35 minutes, because I sent you my resume. Right.
And you had everything you had on there. You just needed formatted in a different way. I mean, the information is the information, but the key things that, and I'll say this to anyone that's doing a resume. Right. I mean, the key things you have to have on there. You have to have your academics. You have to have when you're scoring, you need to know you have the scores. You need to tell them how far the golf course you're playing. Right. They're going to ask that question, because a lot of schools, they want to know, because if you're shooting a 65 on 5,900 is different than a 65 on 7,400. Right. And so they want to know that information. Mm-hmm. Any kind of way that if you're going to put swing video on a resume, you better make sure that it's the way they want to see it, as far as if they were an instructor and they were looking at a swing, which is down the line or face on. That's pics of the kid playing on the golf course where you're sitting in the cart and you're taking a picture and you're putting that on your resume. That's not something they're going to see, or they're going to be able to use.
Right. And there, you're on any social media platforms that people...
We're on everything. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. I want people to reach out to us with any questions, anything. We're 100% junior golf.
They will.
Okay. That's all we do every day.
That's good, Darren. All right, so Darren, what we're gonna do at this time, bro, is we're gonna open it up for some Q&A. We got a couple of questions already came in. And I'm gonna just let them answer, ask any questions they want. So we got Darren, Stephanie, Maurice. Any questions for Darren tonight? They may be trying to unmute. Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to unmute.
Okay, go ahead, Maurice.
Hey, appreciate Darren for everything that you're doing and the template that you're putting together, and just want to say congratulations to Morgan, who will be joining Kendall at Howard. Man,
Right.
Looking forward to some good days.
Well, definitely would be.
I just wish your services was available when we were going through the recruiting process, man. This would have been very beneficial to both Kendall and myself.
You know what? There's a lot of sweat and tears. I mean, you know, even with me doing this, I mean, Morgan sent out 100 pieces to colleges. I mean, and she got everything from flat out no's to, okay, we'll talk, but this is when we have money, to, okay, yeah, I'm interested. You know, let's continue the conversation and let's have a phone call. It works. The system works as far as by sending the right paperwork. Coaches will respond to it, but also the kids have to do the work. They have to know, what is your top 5 schools? What's your top 10 schools? Now let's expand it. You know, let's be realistic as a parent and as a player where you should be trying to play at. I mean, you know, and that's part of the game.
Yeah. One of the questions that came in, Darren, is from Darren Carpenter. He's got a junior. He says, he asks, is driver speed a measurement coaches are interested in?
Driver speed in the number, probably not so much, because they can't tell if it's going straight or if it's going left and right. Now, high speed players, right, you can't teach speed. You can't teach speed. So if you've got a kid that's a high speed player, that's one of those things that's not like I said, the coaches come in 2 buckets. They love a kid that hits it far and say, you know what, I'll walk with them and I'll show them how to hit the wedges and do those types of things and be able to score because they hit it so far. But then on the other end, there's kids that are hit it 250, 265, 270 off the tee, but the short game, the putter makes up for that big a difference. It all depends. It's not a variable that you would put on a resume. There's not something to say, you know, my kid has 120 miles club head speed that a golf course is going to say, oh, well, I want that kid. I mean, you know, that's not a variable that we test on a kid. They will see that by the swing video. If that's the case and you got a high speed player, then have them swing in the driver. And they're seeing it. I mean, speed is something you can see, you know.
Right.
Hello?
Yep, go ahead, Darren.
Hey, Darren, this is Darren Carpenter with my question. So sort of along those lines, what is considered a high-speed player nowadays? It's, you know, I know kids are developing so much faster now, and the answer now, I'm sure, is different than it was 10, 15 years ago.
I think it's a kid that's over 110 is going to be considered high speed. 110, 120 is high speed. I mean, I see a lot of junior golf, and I see some junior players that can really hit the ball far. I mean, that are very, very, very bendable, is what I call them, is those kids that can get it in the right position and hit it far. But then again, I see a lot of kids that can hit it far, that hit it far into the woods too. And you know, it's a control thing. I mean, you can say high speed all day long, but high speed in the fairway is high speed. Is high speed. That's good high speed. I mean,
right.
You know, I think, did you see the kids that on tour that, you know, that have high speed now? You know, Cameron Champ and all those kids, they hit it a ton, but they can find it. You know, you got to be able to find it if you hit it far. But I think that it all really comes back to the end of the day for a college coaches. What are the numbers that you are shooting? Where are you placing yourself in these tournaments? Where is the consistency that you're going to show? Because it's like a job interview. If I've got to pick a kid that's going to be on my golf team and I'm going to give money to, I need to be able to depend that this kid's going to be able to play in whatever number range that I need him to play in. If it's a Division I school, right, I might need a kid to be able to play par or better. as far as if it's the Division II or NAI school, hey, 74 to 76
might be
look
okay.
at golf stat. I mean, there's kids winning tournaments at 4 and 5 over par for 2 days. So it just really depends on the market that you're really trying to get yourself into as far as a player, but knowing that if a kid has a desire to play on the next level, there is a spot for them out there. You can't discourage kids that they can't go to Texas, so they can't go to Oklahoma. Hey, there's a ton of good programs out there that travel on private jets just like they do and playing great events.
Yeah. I saw Liberty. Liberty has a great golf team. I mean, they kill in the tournament. So, I mean, I never, thought about Liberty being a great school. Is Liberty in Texas? Yeah.
Liberty's in Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It has other issues, but they do have some sports programs.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's like Lynn University down in Boca Raton, and, Andy was coaching down there, and I didn't know anything about it till he went there. I mean, they're in Boca. They play some of the finest golf courses that are out there, and they're a Division II school, and they play against all the big schools in Florida. And they had a team. They won the national championship, and they had a kid that played in the Masters, and that's a Division II school. So I always try to push kids that don't get enamored on the name of the school.
Right.
If it's not a fit for you, it's not a fit for you. Don't go to somewhere where you're going to sit for 2 years and not be able to play and just practice when you can go to a nice Division II or a smaller Division I school and come in there and challenge for a spot.
Right.
Because there's 5 spots.
Right.
So it's an education. I mean, and we try, and our site, I tell everybody on this right now, this site is going to get better. The phase 2 of the site is going to be more in depth and get more and more into helping individual players find out where is the right place to play and dealing directly with coaches, because we have direct line in the college coaches. We're a member with the Golf Coaches Association. So they like what we have. So we're going to get seen if you use our program.
All right. Hey, Darren, got a question coming in from Stephanie. She wants to ask, is it really important to play high school golf, or can tournaments suffice to get attention from recruiters?
Okay, good question. High school golf in the coach's eyes is probably the lower decimal before the summer programs, because the high school fields are not as strong as the summer. In the summer, you might have 70 girls, 70 boys that are there to play in that tournament that are all good players. In a high school setting, yes, play high school golf. High school golf is great, the team aspect of it. Morgan is on a great team in Texas at Hebron. They won the state championship 6A. I mean, it was a great experience. And team golf, it's all about what college golf is about. But as far as a coach looking at it, they're not going to look at you as saying you were at number 1 in this tournament in high school, as they would look for you if you played in an AJGA event or a North Texas Junior PGA event and you won that, because the strength of the field is different. The 4 and 5 in high school usually are players that are developmental, for lack of a better word, because they got freshmen, sophomores, juniors that are playing on the team.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much for clarifying that. My husband's going to figure it out.
Thank you.
Darren, can I have a follow-up question to Stephanie, if you don't mind?
Sure.
So with that said, obviously maybe the scores, of high school golf don't matter, but how much do the college coaches reach out and have conversations with the high school coaches? I have more, I do the high school football thing, so I know how important it is for the college coaches to talk to us as the high school and the position coaches. Sure. But is it the same way when it comes to golf, even though they don't look at the scores as much?
Yeah, I would say and I don't want to be 100% because I'm not going to say that, but in my experience from talking to high school coaches, I was talking to at least 5 at Texas A&M, and I asked the same question because that was one of the questions that I really wanted to know. I thought I knew the answer, and I asked, I said, how many coaches reach out to you guys at your individual schools looking for players or asking about a player on your team? And to the man, 5 of them said never.
Wow.
Never. That it doesn't happen, that the coaches and I don't know why that is. Right. But I think that's the idea that, the numbers speak for themselves as far as for kids. and it's hard. I mean, if you look at it on a tournament by tournament basis, if you look across the board, I'm just taking my experience where I'm at in Texas, just to give you an example. There's 2 events every week with 200-300 kids that are playing. And Maurice will say the same thing for South Texas. And the numbers are the numbers. And what's the chance of a college coach coming to one of those events and seeing a player that plays at its best at that tournament? Usually what they do is they come to that tournament, they let the first day go by, they see the leaderboard from the second day going in, and they follow the last 3 groups if they're going to even come to the tournament to look at it.
Gotcha.
That's why the resume comes back in and says, this gives you an overall picture, Mr. Coach, Mrs. Coach, of what I've done through the whole summer, and here's my playing resume that through the summer. Now, I've got a little resume here. Now, if I want to come see you, now I know who I'm coming to see, and I know what you've done before. And so if you go out there and shoot a 76, but the golf swing is good and you make a couple of mistakes, I'm not so much worried about that. I'm looking for other things. I'm looking like, what kind of teammate are you going to be? How do you feel under pressure? What happens when things aren't going well? That's what they go out and look at these junior tournaments. Not so much going and following a player, because it's not a measurable sport. Football and those kind of things, yeah. I want to know about this kid that's 6'9". Can he play? I got to ask his coach because he sees him every day. I only see him in game day.
That's good. Well, Darren, this has been good. Any final questions for Darren before we finish up the podcast, everybody? Okay. All right. Well, Darren, thank you, man. We appreciate you, man. This is some valuable information. Of course, it's going to go out on all the podcast platforms.
Sure.
And it'll go out on the podcast page. And again, man, we thank you for just blessing us with the information. And we're going to make sure we put it to good use. We'll put it out on the page. And any final thoughts as we wrap up the podcast tonight?
Just that we're here for you. I mean, so we're here to make this a lot simpler for parents. I mean, and I can't say it enough. I mean, the kids, they do what they do, which is going and playing and practicing and doing all these things. But where we can help them is the piece that they have never been trained on. And that is how to get to the next level and what that is. And that resume is your first entryway to get to anybody. You can't get to a college coach without a resume. If you're not in that top 2% of players, where they're out there chasing you and you're playing in every AJGA event, you know, and winning or being in the top 10, who's going to come find you? You're going to have to go find them. And then once they find you, now the conversation will start and they'll find out who you are. But you've got to open those doors, and we've got the key to help you do that. And we're more than willing to do whatever we have to do to give you insight, information, help you any way that we can. But just remember that we're not a recruiting service. We are resume creation, and we will do everything we can to help you push it along with your own hard work to get the right people in front of you.
Gotcha. All right. Well, Darren, thank you, man. We appreciate you. Hoping this won't be the last time.
Nope, I'm here for you.
Right. Okay.
Make sure you put that code out there for folks, because that's a good deal right now. That, you know, we're cutting 100 off of it. So come get it.
Okay. Inbox me that code too, so I can put it out on the Black Junior Golf page. We got about 750 parents on that page. So they'll, you know, I'm sure they're going to use it. Okay.
You'll have it in the next 5 minutes.
Okay.
Hey, great information. Very beneficial for parents.
Thanks, Mo. I'm sure I'm going to see you soon.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, parents. Thanks,
All right.
everybody. Okay.
Later.
Good night.
Thanks. Everybody have a good one.
Okay.